So question 13, these ones here. So the way these work is you're asked to find the value. So you know you're dealing with triangles, and we can see we've got triangles there. This diagram shows wires attached to a communication antenna. Find the length h, correct the nearest meter. So we're looking for this length h here. Okay. So anytime we're dealing with trigonometry, we need to look at the framework that we use. We've got angles in a triangle adding up to 180 degrees. So in this case, that doesn't help us because we don't have enough information to fill in those angles. So we can't choose that. The next thing is 90-degree triangles. So we have a 90-degree triangle. We can see that down here. Okay. But this 90-degree triangle isn't going to impact on the value of h, right? So when we're looking for the height h, we're really looking at this outside triangle. Okay. So this outside triangle here doesn't, we can't use any of these. So we need to look at the area of the triangle. There's no reference made to area, so we don't know the area, so that's of no help to us. So the next thing there is the sine rule. Okay. So in order to use the sine rule, I'll just quickly sketch that triangle here so you can see it. So the triangle that I'm looking at there, or that you should be looking at, is this one. Okay. So this here is 12. This here is 32. This here is 25. And this here is h. Okay. So in this case, if I was going to look at the sine rule, I'd have an angle opposite the sides. That's perfect. But in order to use the sine rule, I have to have another angle opposite a side, which I don't have in this case because I don't have an angle opposite a side. Okay, because I'm missing those two angles. If I knew those angles, then I'd be able to use the sine rule. But because I don't know them, I can't use the sine rule. So if I can't use the sine rule, through a process of elimination, I know I have to use the cosine rule. But the cosine rule, we should know when to use the cosine rule. And when we use the cosine rule, it's when we have three sides and an angle. So anytime we have three sides and an angle, we can use the cosine rule. So we'll move on there and we'll use the cosine rule to find the value of h. Some of you will be able to fly through this and fill it in yourselves. More of you will need to go through it step by step. So the cosine rule. So the cosine rule says that a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos of a. Okay. I need to make sure that I label the triangle correctly. Okay, so I need to make sure that I label the triangle correctly, and I'll do that now. I'll label the angle A, side opposite it, small a, and then small b and small c, doesn't matter where they go. The most important thing is that the capital letter, or the capital A, is the angle. So we'll fill in all that information. So A in this case is equal to h. So h to be squared is equal to b to be squared, which is 32 all to be squared, plus c squared is 25 to be squared, minus 2 times 32 times 25 times cos of the angle, which is cos of 12. Okay, so that's all the information put in there. Next step is just to simplify it. So h squared is equal to, now if you look at this, this represents a number, this represents a number, all of this multiplied out will represent a number. So you could actually type that straight into the calculator. I tend not to, because if you make one small mistake, you'd lose all the marks. So I tend to do it bit by bit. So you get 1024 plus 25 times 25 is 625. Okay, minus 2 times 32 times 25 times cos of 12 gives you 1565.036161. Okay. Now, some people, actually, you know what I'll do? I'll actually do this step by step. What I'll do is I'll just do these. I'll do this first, because it's best that we keep the same way the whole time, right? So that will give you 1600 cos of 12. Now, you could have done it the way I was doing it a second ago, but same difference. So 1024 plus 625 gives you 1649 minus 1600 cos 12. Now, I'd strongly advise you to work out that much. So even if you just typed the two numbers into the calculator and got that, and typed this into the calculator and got that, so you skipped this step, that's fine. I don't advise you to skip steps, but if you did and got this, that's fine. But I'd strongly advise you to put in this step and not just to put in the answer, because there could be marks going for this step, and if you type the wrong button into the calculator and got the wrong answer, at least you get marks for getting this far, as opposed to getting no marks at all. Okay, so h squared is equal to 1649 minus 1600 cos of 12, and that is 83.96383883. So to find out what h is, this is telling me what h squared is. I want to find out what h is, so I need to get the square root of both sides. If I get the square root of the left hand side, I'll be left with just h. If I get the square root of the right hand side, I'll be left with that square root of the answer, which is 9.163178424, and they wanted that correct to the nearest meter. So correct to the nearest meter, the answer will be 9 meters. Again, once you do these kind of questions, you should be looking back to see if that makes sense. If you look at the full question, they're saying that from here to here is 25, from here to here is 32, so from here to here to be 9 seems to be about correct, right? If you got an answer of 1,540 or 32,976, then you know it doesn't seem to fit, okay? But roughly speaking, looking at this, that seems to be about right. Okay. So for this one, we're looking at the area of a triangle, and I think it's going to be the cosine rule. I'll have to double check when we get onto it, right? So find the length of AC. So in the given triangle, ABC, BC is equal to 60, BC is equal to 60, and the angle ACB, so from A to C to B, is 150, so we know that. If the area of the triangle ABC, the area is equal to 450, okay, so the area of the triangle meters squared. Find the length of AC. Okay, so from what we know so far with the area of the triangle and trigonometry, the area of a triangle is half AB sine C. So the area of a triangle is half AB sine C is equal to 450. Okay, so this is the formula for the area of a triangle, half AB sine C, when we're using trigonometry, and we're going to leave that equal to 450. Now, when we're doing the area of a triangle, we look at the angle. Okay, so we look at the angle, and that represents C, so that's going to be C. So A and B are going to be to the left and to the right. So A is going to be this side, and B is going to be this side. So I need to fill in that information. So half of A times B, which is 60, times sine of C, and the sine of C is sine of 150, equals 450. Okay, so the next step, let's just highlight the unknown there. Okay, so A is the unknown. A is what we're trying to find the value for. So you need to get rid of everything that's attached to that. So here you can see these are all being multiplied together. So this has been multiplied by this has been multiplied by this, and this has been multiplied by this. Now, just a quick breakdown there. When you're multiplying, it doesn't matter which one we do first. So let's just say 2 times 3 times, we'll say 4. So 2 times 3 gives us 6. 6 times 4 gives us 24. So 2 times 3 gives us 6. 6 times 4 gives us 24. If we had said 3 times 2 times 4, we'd still get, let's say we multiply the two of these first. So if we multiply 2 and 4, we get 8. 3 times 8 will give us 24. So when you're multiplying, it doesn't matter what order you do them in. So let's just say what I'm going to do here is I'm going to multiply this by this and by this. So everything that's in green, I'm going to multiply together. Okay, so 1/2 times 60 times sine of 150 gives us 15. So I'll be left with 15a equals 450. So to get a by itself, what I need to do to both sides is I need to divide both sides by 15. So if I divide the left-hand side by 15, I get a, but I have to do the same on the right-hand side and divide that by 15. So 450 divided by 15 leaves you with an answer of 30. Okay. So again, have a look at that. See, does it link in with the question that you did? So when I started this question, I had a side of 60, and I'm saying this is going to be equal to 30. That seems to be about correct. Okay. Again, if I got an answer there of, say, 4,562,000, then you'd know it was wrong. Okay, so always just link back to make sure it makes sense. Okay, that's the first part of that question done. So the first part there is done, and I'm actually going to fill in what a is equal to there. So I can say that a is equal to 30. So we're just going to look at the second part of that question now. So if you look at the second part of that question, it asks you to find the perimeter of the triangle ABC, right? So in order to find the perimeter of the triangle, I can add together this side and this side, but I can't add this side obviously because I don't know the length of that side. So in order to find out what the perimeter is, I need to first of all find out what that side is equal to. So I'm going to label that side X. Okay, so again, looking at this, and the challenge, as I say, is deciding, do I use Pythagoras' theorem? Do I use trig ratios? Do I use the cosine rule? Do I use the sine rule? Do I use the area of the triangle? And in this case, you can see that you use the cosine rule, right? So the reason why we use the cosine rule is because we've got three sides. So we have this side, and we're looking for this side, and we have an angle. Okay. So the cosine rule, I'll just fill that in there. A squared is equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos of a. So that's our cosine rule. We now need to fill in all the information. So the angle is going to be a. So opposite the angle is going to be lowercase a. B and C will just go from left to right. Okay. And we'll fill that in now. So a to be squared is going to be x to be squared. B to be squared is 30 to be squared. C to be squared is 60 to be squared. Minus 2 times 30 times 60 cos of a, which is cos of 150. So you can see there, we'll just make sure that everything's filled in correct. A is equal to x, B is equal to 30, C is equal to 60, B is equal to 30, C is equal to 60, and A is equal to 150. So from there, I can tidy all that up. So I know that x squared will be equal to 900 plus 3600 minus 2 times 30 times 60, 3600 cos of 150. Okay, so you can see there all I did was tidy it up. I multiplied this out to get this, I multiplied this out, and I multiplied this out. So I just pull them together, right? So next step there, x squared will be equal to, so if I pull the two of these together this time, I'll end up with 4500 minus 3600 cos of 150. At this stage, I can't simplify that any further, so I'm going to type all that into the calculator, and that, take away 3600 cos of 150, x squared will be equal to 7617.691454. So in order to get x by itself, we need to get the square root of both sides, and the square root of that gives us our answer. So the square root of that is 87.27938734. So the answer, they wanted it correct to the nearest meter. So the answer will be equal to 87 meters. And the reason why it's 87 is because our meters stop there. Look at what comes next. If that's 5 or greater, then the 7 would round up. In this case, it's less than 5, so we just leave it as 87.